Welcome to episode 64. Welcome to episode 64 of Beer with Strangers. I'm your host, Tony Russo, and I'm joined by my pinch-hitting co-host pinch hitter, Sean Hager.
Hey, guys.
And we are going to talk about kooky beers this week, as we didn't get to it last week. But in anticipation of having this conversation, Sean got something pretty cool. You want to show the kids at home?
Yeah, I have Walker from Dock Street Brewing Company. It's a malt beverage brewed with house-roasted goat brains and organic cranberries. Looks like a pale stout coming in at 7.2% alcohol. So that's one way to start it off by.
We're gonna give it a taste, and one of the things we were already discussing is the root beer.
Nacho Daddy's root beer, which is taken.
Oh, you could throw a cap right back on this. We are in a homebrew store.
That's.
I felt bad. I'm like, oh, you can't save it for anybody, but you totally can.
Yeah, a friend of mine wants to come by tomorrow and try it out, so I have to save a little bit for them, and maybe if I don't gag it,
All right, so
yeah,
just
cheers.
taste each other.
See if we can get some of them goat brains. It smells like cranberries.
Fine.
It tastes like it's kind of tart from the cranberry.
Yeah.
There's like a
Musty.
distinct, like a faint smoked meatiness to it. Which I'm kind of surprised because I've watched a few videos and reviews on this beer before, and nobody said that you can actually taste brains, and it might be just in my own brain. It's really carbonated.
People always make a big deal about how ooh, but it tastes like it's beer flavored. It has a roastiness that I would like to attribute to the brains, but it could just be the roasted malt. But it's also lighter. It's lighter than
It says it's a golden stout, which is a style I don't think I've had. I made a coffee saison here at the shop with Sean Hickson from The Point. And I used their coffee, and a lot of people say it's very golden stoutish. I kind of see it, but in reality, it blatantly tastes like a saison and coffee. Pretty neat beer. Love or hate it kind of thing.
I like it a lot.
We've had a really good feedback on it, so I'm happy about that.
But that's the kind of confusing thing, like with this, is that it's a coffee stout, but it's not brown.
It's way too fizzy, in my opinion. It's real light on the tongue, kind of tart, which I'm attributing all that to the cranberries. But there is a distinct, like that tastes a bit like something smoked.
Yeah,
I've never eaten brains, so I really have no idea what they taste like.
It could taste like kibasi for all we know.
I've heard it's kind of creamy. I have some friends who are down with organ meat. I'm scared.
I've eaten tripe. I'll eat tripe.
Oh, I tear tripe up in pho.
That's organ meat.
Like noodle soup. Oh, I will. Via taste in Salisbury.
Oh,
I'll tear it up. I go in there and eat like 3 gallons of it, and I'm miserable for a week. Completely off topic there. Sorry. But yeah, we were talking about Nacho Daddy's root beer, which is crazy popular with my friends.
I have in my head a blog post that I can't get together on it. It's not that I don't like it, and it's not that it doesn't taste good, because I do like it, and it does taste good. It's just odd. It's just, if you haven't had it, try it.
If you can find it.
It tastes like root beer, and it's disorientingly odd. But the fact, the brains will repeat on you every time. The fact that it tastes like root beer is something that I have trouble contending with because of my own biases against masking the taste of alcohol. Like Sean and I don't agree with this at all. But on this, like when I have a drink, it's usually liquor flavored liquor. I'll have a martini. And when I drink beer, I like to drink. I'll try pretty much any beer, but I'm not We're gonna talk about shandies in a little bit. I'm not gonna order a shandy unless it's something I haven't had before and I want to try it. You know, I'm not gonna bring a shandy home to drink. I want basic beers when I drink them. I don't mind if they're I don't mind if they're high alcohol. I don't mind if they're bold, but I don't want them. I'm not the market for people who are trying to flavor things so that they don't taste like what they're supposed to taste like.
And I mean, I'm not too far off on with that. Now, I like liquor flavored liquor when it is liquor that is meant to be drank by itself. Now,
cheap vodka is not.
No. Now, and same thing with cheap rum, cheap whiskey. You know, if it's junk,
you got to put it.
It needs to be mixed. And I like that. And how the hell are we getting fruit flies already?
I have them in my house as well.
Like, is it fall? But no,
practically.
Now, beer. I do like shandies, and I always have, and I like radlers and stingers and things of all those natures. Actually, there's a grapefruit radler that is just freaking amazing. I can't remember what its brand is now, but it's like Czech or something. Now, Sculpin, the IPA, are you a fan?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had grapefruit Sculpin?
I don't know. I haven't.
Absolutely fantastic. Do you like grapefruit juice?
I haven't ordered grapefruit juice since I was a child, so I don't. That's the thing. I drink booze, coffee, and water. Those are the three things that I drink. I'm sorry. Occasionally, I'll have like a V8. Oh, I keep V8s at work for snacking.
I'd rather drink Belgian beer.
Well, I consider the V8s more of a snack than a drink.
God,
you know, it's something that's filling. But the thing about just to get back to the root beer, if you didn't say it tasted like root beer, I would be less suspicious of it because it's an interesting beer. Like as a beer, like in a world where there was no root beer, in the world where there's no such thing as root, in the world where there's no such thing as root beer, that's a very good, interesting beer. You know what I mean?
To me, the one I had, now I don't know, it could be one of those things where 1 6-pack is boldly different than the other. The one I had, it tastes like straight up, slightly less carbonated A&W.
Yeah, and it's not real sweet.
See, the one I had was sweet.
Well, I mean, not sweet like at Burley they make the beer.
Yeah, they make the homemade
and that's very sweet.
Yeah, this one was to me it tasted just like A&W.
You were saying, I'll bet they used a lot of sarsaparilla or the spices that they used weren't sugar. And I guess they couldn't, otherwise they wouldn't be able to control the alcohol if they had too much sugar in it.
Well, they kill the yeast.
Oh.
It's all pasteurized prior to, so they can sweeten it as much as they want. But I remember looking at the list of stuff to talk about last week, and I'm trying to remember some of the...
Oh, I have them up here.
The beers that were on there, and some of them are...
And that's the thing. What's gimmicky and what's trying to push the envelope, I think
gimmick.
That's gimmick.
100% gimmick.
And it's good.
And it's good. And I don't know if I would drink a sixer of this in an evening, but it's fun to have your friends around.
Yeah, it's fun. I wouldn't drink it by itself. This is what I would call like a dinner beer. You want this with real food, not with just
burgers,
something to keep you from getting drunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
I would have this with macaroni for dinner or fish. When you're sitting down for a meal, I would drink 3 of these at dinner and not even notice it.
And it's completely themed. It's Walker. It's from The Walking Dead. It's zombies. It's brains. The cranberries are supposed to represent a blood red hue of the beer, which it failed miserably in the color there.
It wasn't even quite amber.
No, but it's fun.
It's fun.
It was worth the joke for us.
Absolutely.
I would drink it again. One of the ones we're looking at right here now, Rogue Beard Beer.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to take a quick time out. We are on Storify at Beer with Strangers. If you'd like to follow us on Storify, if you do that, that's where we put up all of our show notes beforehand. If not, follow us on Twitter or whatever, and we tweet them out. But if you want to follow along with us, we're on Storify, Beer with Strangers. This is episode 64.
Yeah, but the top one here is Beard Beer. Rogue, well, actually, that's just a picture, but made by Rogue. Their brewer, I don't remember his name. He's been there since ever. They cultured yeast from his beard. I'm a bearded guy. I am a huge fan of the bearded world. John Mayer. At least he doesn't make crappy music. No offense if you're a John Mayer fan, but you're probably a bad person. Sorry.
We were talking about this last week, and we were saying that, he's been brewing there long enough that there's probably some of his beard in lots of the beer.
And not to mention that if he's working around in a brewery that long, if there's not yeast in his beard, he's probably not being a very good brewer. I personally am not a huge rogue beer fan. Just nothing against them, just they don't make a lot of beers that I like. I would love to try that one just because of the novelty of it.
And that's what's important. Like, this isn't, I don't know if this is more expensive, but the Walker beer isn't good enough to pay a premium for.
No.
On quality points.
No.
And that's the thing that's interesting about some of these beers. You're going to pay a premium to taste them, but then do you continue to pay the premium
to keep
having them?
Yeah, this one I think was a brewed one-time thing. I mean, like I was telling him, there's not pallets of goat brains sitting around. They're all used up by the black metal guys in Sweden. But another one on the list here by Brewmeister. These were the guys who were going up against Brewdog on the who can have the highest alcohol. They had one called Snake Venom, which is coming in at 67.5% alcohol.
That
135 proof. Now,
that's stronger than whiskey.
That's significantly. Jack Daniel's is 80 proof.
Right.
So now you can't call that beer in the United States because it is frost distilled. They freeze the water out of it. Like people at home, if they make pear jack and things like that, it's the same. Certain countries allow you to call it what you want.
Now, I'm sorry, I don't know what frost distilled is.
Okay, when you distill, typically you have a alcoholic liquid. You evaporate the alcohol out of it, collect it, and that's how you get it. To freeze distill, you freeze.
Oh, and you pull the ice out.
You pull the ice out. Oh. You just remove the opposite. That's how they have concentrated this, from what I've read. I might be completely wrong, but there is no natural yeast that can ferment that much alcohol. Gimmick.
Yeah.
100%.
Have you tried this?
No. Oh. No. I don't think you can get them. And I'm not paying $80 for a bottle. If I won't pay that much for Utopias.
Now, this, I would pay $80 a bottle for. It looks like it's $800, so I'm not paying.
I saw one go for $1,100. It was the squirrel that Brewdogs. During their high alcohol competition, they came up with the beer called the End of History. The End of History was 50% alcohol, so 100 proof. For a while, they thought that was going to be the end all for it. So they only made, there was not many bottles.
12
bottles, and they went inside of a taxidermied squirrel.
Oh, so that's I would buy that. If you put this on the store, it's not like it's not like squirrels are endangered. You could taxidermy yourself up a bunch of squirrels, put them on they would fly off the shelves. I would pay $60 for a $12 beer in a $50 squirrel.
50% alcohol though. I mean, once again, that's another frost distilled one. They're saying absurd price is $765. I saw one go for $1,100. But
it's only absurd if no one will pay it.
Right. The squirrel had a top hat and a tuxedo on, so that was kind of cool. Gimmick. Flat out gimmick. I mean, is it cool that they did it? Absolutely. This one is intriguing to me. The world's oldest beer recipe. And see.
Great Lakes.
Yes. Actually, I'm thinking of the one below it that was really interesting. But yeah, take an ancient recipe, make a beer out of it. I don't find that gimmicky.
And it especially, I like Midas Touch. That's one. That's a beer that I tasted it because I bought it for the gimmick, but I'd buy that any day. That might be the sweetest beer I drink.
Have you had Chateau's Yahoo?
No.
It's Dogfish's other version of that. Much better.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it comes out of 22. Fantastic beer. Absolutely fantastic.
But the Midas Touch was made from the same thing. They found an old recipe. They recreated it. They made it palatable. Like they tweaked it to make it palatable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then because there's not ingredient. They knew what was in it, and that's it. They didn't know quantities and stuff, and you have to make it a legal beer, so you had to use barley.
Right, and you also you don't want to make it like what they would back when you only lived to be whatever 18 years old. You know, you didn't have. You're like, yes, I'll drink this or die. You know, It wasn't.
And it was the Egyptians gave it to the slaves because it was nutritive and hydrating at the same time.
As you may have read in Eastern Shore Beer, they still do that to the slaves here in Maryland briefly. And then they didn't anymore. But this one we already talked about. We did a whole show on this, and I would again if I had the cash laying around, this is one that I'd
be all over this. It's the world's oldest intact beer found from a shipwreck. It stayed cold. The cork stayed wet. It didn't really leak in. Not a lot of seawater got to it. Out of the light, temperature perfect.
This is what it would have tasted like if you cracked it open 200 years ago.
Yeah, I would love. Well, they said it tasted old, but they had enough information from it that they can recreate the beer. And the brewery was supposed to recreate it.
Yeah, and they got the yeast out of it. That was the other thing. There was still Stahlhelgen Brewery.
Yeah, and I would love to try that beer. I doubt I ever will. Honest yeast strain. That's going back to the beer. Yeah, so there's a lot of these gimmicks out here, and what's that one? Oh, that's another one. Oh man, I wish I had brought it.
You have this beer?
Not that one. I went to a beer club meeting.
They
only had one at Evo. I went. Met a really awesome guy there who brought some beers, and he had a beer with like a little, it was like an earth on the cap. So I got talking to him. There's a company that will put whatever you want,
right,
up to like a couple pounds into the stratosphere via a air balloon or weather balloon. So he sent up Apollo hops. Sent them up, went into space, popped, came back down. He made a beer out of it. So I've had space beer.
Oh, that's cool.
Homebrew space beer, where this one's made from barley that was in the it was at the International Space Station. $100 a pop. I didn't pay that. I got it for free. And I have a bottle in my fridge still. It's probably so oxidized and bad by this point, but pretty neat. You know, it's gimmick, absolutely, but it's awesome.
Yeah, and that's gimmicky. And so the trick to that is it has to be very good for you to pay a premium for just.
It would
for just I mean, it's not $100 a bottle good. I can tell from here.
Yeah, looking at the color, I can tell it from here.
Yeah, it's just beer flavor.
Beer pre-digested by elephants. I'm not eating poop.
No, it's the coffee. It's the coffee beans. We also talked about this. It's like.
But those are done by that's civet, which is a cat.
Right. Well, this is an elephant instead. Same premise, different animal.
You know what? I don't need to eat food twice.
I will eat food twice. I would. This is one that I would try, but again, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd pay a premium for it.
I'm not eating chitlins either. Pooping through that. What was the other one? Oh, Hello Kitty beer. In Japan, everything
is Hello Kitty.
Can have Hello Kitty on it. Their culture is absolutely awesome. If it's popular, it's on everything. If you ever get a chance, look up all the Kit Kats you can get from there too. They're like red bean and wasabi Kit Kats. Gross.
Yeah. See, you thought the brains were bad, but there's a Rocky Mountain oyster stout.
I would eat Rocky Mountain oysters. I know I'm sitting here saying I'm not going to eat poop, but
yeah.
All
over it.
I've had the Voodoo Donut chocolate peanut butter banana ale. I've also had their bacon syrup, whatever
maple
one.
Maple bacon.
Yeah, maple bacon donut one. And I also had their chocolate raspberry one.
What's really interesting is the oyster stout made it onto this list, and I never thought of oyster stout as a weird beer. They did this. Our friends at the Chesapeake Bay Brewing Company in Crisfield, they did that. Their best beer is their oyster stout with fresh oysters. It's
you know what's weird about that, and from what I've read, so I might be completely off on this. The oyster stout is an old style. They used the shells for a water hardener.
Oh, really?
There was no oysters were used in it, and it wasn't for brine. It was just the calcium of the shells to harden the water.
Oh, that's cool.
So, once again, America.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put the whole damn thing in.
If some is good, more is better.
That's like, have you ever heard of chopped lobster?
No.
From Dogfish Head? They do it at the pub. I heard they might possibly think about bottling it. We'll see what that happens. It's lobsters boiled in the wort and cocoa.
Oh, cool. And then they give you and then you eat the lobster.
At the pub, they will have a night where they serve them. But I don't think I'd want a chocolate-covered lobster. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
Coconut curry Hefeweizen. Gross.
Well, and something that we discussed also in one of our previous episodes was a notion of yeast being used to make different flavors.
Yes.
Were you on that show? You were on that show, right?
Yes. Fascinating to me.
So I would try it, especially if it were made with no coconut, but just coconut.
Yeah, like we have that beer out there.
Yeast.
We get the banana just from the yeast.
Right, right. And so that's the weird beer section. Went a little longer than we had hoped, but I think it came out well. Just really quickly, we're not going to get to the using political clout, but I do want to talk about shandies a little bit. I wrote in this week's ShoreCraftBeer.com blog about Backshore Brewing. They used to be called Shorebilly, and I don't think anybody can sue me for saying they used to be called Shorebilly, but there was a legal fight, and now they're called Backshore Brewing, and sometimes it takes me a second to remember. Huh?
They won.
Oh, they can be Shorebilly, but
if they want to, they won that case, but at this point, they've already changed it once. But
why change it back?
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, well, anyway.
I'm going to sue you.
Point is, I was out there, I was speaking with their brewer, Adam, and they do shandies at the bar. They don't bottle the shandies. They make a blonde, especially it's called Boardwalk Blonde, and that's the one they use in their shandies. And on the bar menu, they'll give you a list of things that they tend to make shandies out of. And I'm sure they'll do other things, but they have, 6 or 8 different punches or sodas or things that they mixed with the Boardwalk Blonde to make a shandy. And the upside of the shandy, and maybe that's why I should try and think about it, is that you don't get loaded, and you can drink a lot of beer.
Yeah. Now the commercial ones that you get where they're already mixed up, they're still typically pushing 6%.
Right.
But like I said, I like them, but I'm also a huge citrus fan. I'm even one. I think it's called a Rattler. I might be wrong in that, but it's or Stinger. It's Smittix and Sprite.
Well, my wife spent some time in Spain, and that was what she got. They put Sprite in their beer,
and I like it. It's in the summertime when it's really, really hot, especially where Backshore is. I mean, they're on the boardwalk,
right?
If you can't bring a crowd in with that, then
we're doomed. They're doing very well. One of the things that I do is I'll make a wine spritzer. And I don't have a problem with that, right? Yeah. I'll take a glass of white wine, half a glass, soda on top, and it's the same thing. That way, if I have 5 or 6 glasses of wine, I don't pass out. I can keep drinking all night, and I can have the flavor of the wine, but it's not.
You're still getting hydrated.
Yeah, you're still getting.
And I think that's one of the best things about the shandy, especially on the boardwalk. It's so hot. It's a bottle of water is $4. You can do these and still get some hydration out of them, and it's low alcohol, so you get a little bit of a buzz, a lot of flavor.
Yeah,
I think it's great, and we show the picture. They do the hard teas as well,
and the hard teas I haven't tried the hard teas yet because I wanted to try. I was at a tasting at the OCMRA, HMRA. And I wanted to taste one of their other beers, so I didn't. I didn't. And I'm not. You are a fan. Have you had a chance? Because I think they only have them there. I don't think you can get them.
No, I don't. I
don't go
that's where I'm from. I don't go there. So I avoid that place like the plague. But I've had their beer, and I do like their beer.
Oh yeah, they make.
I see them at the Good Beer Festival, and it's great to talk to the guys. And
if you're in the region, you can get them at Oasis now, and at a couple places in Berlin.
Oh, that's my old.
That's
my old stomping ground.
Yeah,
I'm from Weatherville, so
I feel like Oasis, like If you made me guess, I would have guessed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, I could walk home if need be, but it especially when they originally had the 36 taps because nobody knew anything about craft beer, so everything on tap was $4, including 9% imperial stouts, and it was great.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna. That wasn't the phone call saying we're gonna end it. But the clock on the wall says it's time to go. Yeah. So thanks for joining us again. If you're listening on iTunes, do me a favor and rate it. If you don't like the show, that's cool. Don't rate it, but send me a note about why, and we'll fix it. Follow us on social media. Comment if you're watching on YouTube and you want to comment or like us and all of those things. That's fine. This weekend,
doing an all grain demonstration. If you want to come out and learn how to do all grain beer, nothing formal. Probably have some hot dogs, noon to 5. Most important part is probably noon to 2. You can also check out what's going on at facebook.com/Extreme Brewing, extremebrewing.com, or you can stop into one of our shops, which we would prefer. It's
easier that way.
Yeah.
But that's all we have for this week. So we will see you next week.
See you.